So, hi everyone. I'm Casey Ingold. I am the Health Improvement Specialist, Tobacco Lead within the Public Health team at East Sussex County Council, and I'm here to talk to you today, both live and also if you're watching this remotely after the event. And I'm also about swap to stop in pharmacy settings. And I'm also here with my colleague Gary from eVapo, who are providing the vapes as part of the National Swap to Stop scheme, and will give you kind of more of an overview on the technical side of the scheme and the e-cigarettes and the liquids and all of that good stuff. So introduction to Swap to Stop. So Swap to Stop is in its kind of second year. It started off with there was 1 million vape starter kits for 4-week vape starter kits, but there's different variations. So in some pathways in East Sussex, we do 4 weeks like this one. In other ones, we do 12 weeks, depending on level of need, like in terms of like tobacco dependency, stuff like that. The government's aim was that almost 1 in 5 smokers will be given a starter kit to help them make the swap to stop using an e-cigarette and move them away from tobacco. Behavioural support is to be included and data to be collected as normal. So for colleagues in pharmacy who are here, that will just be via the farm outcomes pathway. So that's currently in the works. It's less data, so it's less input, but it's the same system and nothing new in terms of what you have to enter. The behaviour change, which I'll go on to a bit later, is about that brief advice. They need to set a quit date, and also those issuing the vape starter kits need to follow up with the client. And again, I will go into this in more detail, but that doesn't have to be just face to face. So that can be asking them to come back into the pharmacy face to face. It can be telephone, email, whatever works best.
Swapping for weight.
Oh, sorry, someone's got their mic on. Oh, all good. Yeah, so now I'm just going to go on to the 4-week swap to stop bundle. And Gary will go into this a bit more later. So you get a pre-filled no, sorry, not a pre-filled. You get a refillable device kit. You will get a USB-C cable, and you will get packs of you'll get a refillable liquid as well. Also as well, Gary will go into this in more detail later, but also coils and stuff like atomizers, stuff like that. Pharmacy staff will issue clients with a voucher to claim either the first 2 weeks or all 4 weeks of the pack to be delivered to their home address. This is free at point of access for all patients. It's not dependent on if they pay or are exempt from the prescription charge. So every patient who comes into your pharmacy who would like to try to stop smoking using a Swap to Stop, the whole kit is free. It's funded by the Department for Health and Social Care. So that's good news as well. In terms of the vouchers, again, Gary will go on to that more later, but there is the option. Again, I recognise that pharmacies, like many places, don't have a premium of storage, so don't necessarily have loads of storage space available. But if you did want, I don't know, let's say you wanted 5 vape kits to keep in the pharmacy, that, you know, if somebody wanted a physical one, then we can do that option as well. We can do a mix of vouchers and physical kits too. So that is definitely an option. And here as well, so just what I just went through was about our pre-filled pod devices. So that is an option, but for this pathway, we will be using the refillable devices. Just as they're more for this cohort, there's not necessarily a need for the pre-filled devices. Why pharmacy involvement is important. So as you know, working in pharmacies act as health hubs. They serve as accessible, trusted healthcare points, offering a wide variety of support, including smoking cessation support and advice. The Swap to Stop program itself help smokers transition to less harmful alternatives like vaping, but also offering them behavioural support and guidance to eventually stop vaping as well after they've stopped smoking. Also, as well as you would be aware, with our current smoking cessation offer in pharmacies in East Sussex, e-cigarettes are not part of that offer. So it's just currently NRT available, and our current pathway is 12 weeks long, whereas this pathway will be 4 weeks long. So there's kind of a two-angled approach here that we hope what this will achieve. We hope this will be less intensive for the client, the patient, and we also hope this will be less intensive for pharmacy staff as well, while still incentivizing you appropriately for the amount of time that it will take, as this is a much shorter intervention compared to 12 weeks and requires less time. So kind of the pharmacy public health impact, pharmacy involvement enhances kind of the public health campaigns on stop smoking, and also expanding access to smoking cessation support for key smoking populations across the county, including routine and manual workers, including kind of like pregnant people, LGBTQ plus people, ethnic minority groups, those residents in our kind of areas of highest deprivation, our IMD 1 and 2 areas. So this really provides a good opportunity for people to stop smoking using an e-cigarette if they would wish to. So there is a short video here because obviously I'm aware just from doing this scheme across lots of different pathways in East Sussex, there will be questions where patients will ask about, you know, the concerns around vaping or myths about vaping, let's say. As you probably see, there's kind of a lot of attention on vaping in the press on a regular basis. But I just want to share this short video about someone's experiences of the benefits of swapping smoking for vaping.
The last conversation I had with my mum was me holding up a vape and saying, "Look, mum, I'm quitting smoking." It helped. It helped me beyond belief because I didn't smoke again after that. So it was definitely a great tool to get off smoking. Anything to get off smoking. You know, you don't want to be the one affected by someone close to you dying. You know, so if it's a vape, you know, it's at least it's not smoking. Smoking is filled with hundreds of harmful chemicals that cause cancer. The benefits that I've noticed after quitting smoking and starting vaping was my lungs. I could breathe again. You know, I could run. It took a while, but after all the tar and phlegm had lifted off my chest, I felt like a new man. So I started playing football more often. I could run more. Secondhand smoke is a major problem too. If I'm smoking next to someone that doesn't smoke, I'm exposing them to the harmful chemicals I am, and it's, you know, it's not fair on them. But I know a lot of people are skeptical about vapes and a bit unsure about them. But for me, it saved my life.
So I just thought that was a really powerful example of the benefits that clients get from using vapes to swap to stop, essentially. This is again another short video, but this is a localized case study in East Sussex of someone that stopped smoking using a vape. And again, it's just another minute long. And I will just play this as I think these case studies are important to share, just, you know, to understand the real impact that vapes as a smoking cessation tool does have on our adult population.
My name is Darren. I'm 51 years old. I live in Eastbourne and first started smoking when I was 14. Been stopped smoking now for 8 weeks. So knowing that my daughter wants me to stop has been a big encouragement for me. So I'm doing it for her, but I'm doing it for myself as well. I wanted to give up smoking anyway, so I've got a vape. It's like having a cigarette in my hand. I visualise that it's a cigarette. When I first started using it, I was taking the smoke, but I weren't inhaling it. My brain thought that I was getting the nicotine. And now it's off, but I just pretend to take it. I've noticed that my breathing's got a bit better. I'm not getting as stressed as I used to over the anxieties of having that cigarette. Yeah, so some advice I'd give people who are thinking about quitting smoking would be determined that this is what you want to do.
Amazing.
My name is Darren. I'm 51 years.
That's a lovely video from Darren, but I just thought it was really important to include 2 very short case study videos there. Again, just echoing the impact. But now on to the more formal things. So the service outline and the payment schedule. I can't see who's on the call, but from my understanding, I believe that most of you have returned your MOUs to me and Simran if you're interested in taking part in this scheme. If you haven't and you would like to do that, and please let us know and we can get that all sorted for you. Or if you'd like to have a further conversation, then more than happy, me and Simran are more than happy to speak with you. So in terms of what we expect or what is expected as part of this pilot, so it's 2 sessions. So it is much, much shorter than the 12-week intervention. So on session 1, you provide a service user with a vape 4-week starter kit. You support them to set a quit date. So when I say provide them with, that will either be the voucher to get it delivered to their home address, or if you inform me that you want to keep a stock of vapes in your pharmacy, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 as an example, then you would physically give it to them. So the initial payment will be £20 for initial up to 10-minute consultation to provide service user with the starter kit, voucher for device or the physical kit, and set that quit date. We will also send colleagues in the pharmacy kind of like a demo e-cigarette device as well. So if there's any questions from the client patient, within that 10 minutes, they can show them how the device works in terms of like putting the liquid in and stuff like that. But Gary will go on more to the technical side later. However, when they go on the eVapor website to order the voucher, there is also, I believe, a video that shows them how to use the device, and there's lots of helpful videos available on the website as well, and also for our own local stop smoking service. Session 2, so the final session, is the 4-week follow-up, and as I said, that can be face-to-face, telephone, or email to confirm if the service user has successfully quit. The pharmacy will receive, so in addition to the £20 from the first session, £35 for a patient who has successfully quit as part of the swap to stop scheme. So that's a non-CO verified quit. If the service user did not successfully quit, an onward referral to either the 12-week pathway that's currently available in community pharmacies to those that are signed up, or via our local stop smoking service. However, if the quit is CO verified, then you will get an additional £10 on top of the £35 for that quit. But again, that is optional, not compulsory. That's only, obviously not everybody is going to be CO verified. The pharmacy will receive a £10 loss to follow-up payment if they issue a vape starter kit or voucher and the client is not contactable at 4 weeks. So for whatever reason, they're lost to follow-up, the pharmacy will get that kind of one-off £10 loss to follow-up payment for each patient. Gary will also go on to this a bit later because I will explain it to the best of my ability, but don't want to get it wrong. I know that in the past, some of our pharmacy colleagues have shared concerns that on the 12-week pathway, it can be common for a patient to come in, get NRT, have that initial session, and then maybe not return later on down the pathway. So what the other option is that you can split the vouchers. So you can either do a 2-week supply, you could do a 2-week supply, and then they have to come in at 2 weeks and you give them another 2-week supply, or you just give them the voucher code all at once. That is up to you based on how you think they will engage. I will take questions after this as well. So there is a variety of swap to stop guidance available. So the National Centre for Smoking Cessation and Training offers a variety of best practice briefings on the delivery of swap to stop, and also provides a free short e-learning for staff. I know from the training that you will have to do for the kind of formal 12-week pathway, which the practitioner, smoking cessation practitioner training, which is quite intense and can take a significant amount of time. I've done the swap to stop training myself, and I can honestly say it takes 15 minutes at most. if you're doing it leisurely, 30 minutes. So we do encourage as part of this that all pharmacy staff who, and ideally we would like all pharmacy staff to be able to be in a position to offer swap to stop, because it's not like the 12-week pathway where you have to be a trained smoking cessation advisor. There's no kind of need for that level of expertise, so they can literally just do the 20-minute NCSCT training and then be ready to give out a vape and have conversations. However, there is kind of, optional training, so like very brief advice training, which is also available with the NCSCT, MEC training, making every contact count with 1UE Sussex, our local stop smoking service. And then also there is a kind of professionals guide on vaping for health and social care professionals, which I will go through after this, but I don't want to risk clicking the link and it taking me off the presentation and not being able to get it back up. And then also another really important one. This is a kind of a short resource that you could kind of get up on the screen, any staff member can get up on the screen, and it has the most common myths about vaping from ASH, Action on Smoking and Smoking and Health. So kind of any of those concerns that a patient might have. However, one of the things that I really think is great about the Swap to Stop free online training is that it's mostly videos, and in those videos, it does kind of role play a scenario of you being a professional handing out a vape and a client coming back to you and saying, "Oh, I'm not sure about this vape. I've heard about this in the news, or I've read this," and supports you to kind of dispel those rumors and what we do know. And also that's a really important thing. And the chances are you will have someone say this. We don't know the long-term effects. We don't have the long-term research. We do have the short-term research, and we have what we have available now. And what we do know, and what the chief medical officer recommends as well, is that we know if you smoke, it is far less harmful to vape, to stop smoking, and then eventually have support to stop vaping as well. So it is all about making that switch over to a less harmful alternative. That is more. Are there any questions? I recognise a couple of people popped in late, so I don't know if, or Simran, if there's anything that you want me to go into more. Okay. If there's no, oh yeah, Shami.
Sorry, I was a little bit late.
That's all right.
Just wanted to check about the vapes, whether. Sorry, we've got lots of echo. Can you hear me?
Shami, you've got an echo. Do you want to try and pop your question in the chat and I'll answer it? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Thank you.
I think
We'll just let Shami put his question in the chat. We've got Caroline, we've got Elizabeth. Yeah, really open to any questions. Yes, Caroline, go ahead.
Okay, so just simple ones. I'm assuming there's no exclusions for this project. Is it going to be done on farmer outcomes? Is that how we actually claim for the service? It's all the logistics of how it actually happens in a pharmacy. It should be brilliant, though, from what you said. It's no problems, and I think it's good to get everyone involved. So I think that's amazing and the right thing to do. We just want to know how it works then.
Yeah, absolutely, Caroline. That's a really good question. Yes, so it will be on farm outcomes. Sorry, I did cover this at the beginning, but you may have missed it, or it might have been before we started the recording. But it will be on farm outcomes. We're just in the process of building it will be separate, so it was still on the same page, but it will be a separate template. It will be much shorter, so it will take pharmacy staff less time to complete as well. And that is how you would claim. So the claiming process won't be different. It will be exactly the same. So there won't be kind of any added complexities or anything like that. And Caroline, what was your other question? Sorry.
I can't remember it now. I forgot it myself.
Simran, can you remember?
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask one other thing. I was going to just say was to get the vouchers, do you have to go into a different site to get the vouchers, or is that also through Farmer Outcomes?
No, so what will happen is I will send to the pharmacy secure email address. I will send them a list of vouchers, and then they just hand out the physical voucher code to the patient. So
Right.
you will literally have your own set, and you'll just mark them as being used. So
Yep.
there'll be no site or any mainframe for pharmacy staff to have to go on other than Farm Outcomes and the email.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
I see. Shami did ask about strengths of vapes, but I can see Gary has popped in the chat that he will cover this during his
Yes.
presentation. So
We,
that's brilliant.
We will let Gary, the expert, cover that, but essentially just a quick overview before I get it wrong. So what obviously happens with smoking cessation is that depending on the level of dependency, you will start them off on a higher level of nicotine strength, and then you will work them down. However, on a 4-week pathway, that's slightly different. So yeah, I will let Gary go on to that. But with any kind of smoking cessation pathway using an e-cigarette over time, even at the end, you would always encourage them to reduce their nicotine strength down. However, what we don't advise is sometimes you have people who will have been smoking 20 a day, let's say, or even more, and they say, I want to go down to the lowest amount of nicotine possible, but then that's not effective because they still need the nicotine to support them to manage the cravings for the cigarettes. Otherwise, they're going to likely return back to cigarettes. But yes, so that's so Gary will go on to that. That's it from me. Happy to answer any other questions via email, anything like that, or after this, and I will pass on to Gary.
Thank you, Casey. Hello, everyone. So my name's Gary. I work in the Public Health Partnerships team in Evapo head office. So working with lots of different services inside and outside of the Swap to Stop campaign. And I've also been a tobacco dependency advisor for like 2.5 years as well. So kind of have a bit of experience from all sides, so to speak, really. So very nice to meet you all. I'm just going to give you a quick whistle stop tour of Evapo. I don't just want you guys to have our products and not know who we are and what we do. Then we'll move through into the products and then how your clients will redeem them online, and sort of the resource you'll give them for them to know what to do and etc. Okay, so can everybody see my slides?
Yeah, we can.
Excellent. I'm just going to switch off my camera because sometimes it makes the slides stick while I go through. Okay, so just to give you a quick introduction to Evapo first of all. So we are a top 3 retail chain in the UK. We have over 10 years of experience within the vaping industry. We've served over 4.5 million customers in over 18 million transactions. And at minimum, all of our store colleagues are qualified NCSCT stop smoking practitioners. We currently have 59 stores throughout the UK. We have one in Eastbourne and one in Hastings as well. So why do services choose to work with Evapo? So we are one of the few vape retailers within the UK that's trusted enough and certified under the Fibre Confidence Scheme, which is operated by Trading Standards. So this certification confirms that all of our products and procedures meet Trading Standards requirements, and our staff training and age verification checks have been audited as part of the certification process. So this scheme is supported by several councils nationwide, including East Sussex County Council. Evapo are also members of the IBVTA, which is the Independent British Vape Trading Association, and we're also founding members of the UK VIA, which is the United Kingdom Vaping Industry Association. So we consistently support the introduction of licensing to the industry, and increased enforcement with significant consequences for rogue retailers who are not following the current regulations set out by our government. So we've also been identified as a national supplier of vaping products by the Department for Health and Social Care, and that sees us supply products through the Swap to Stop campaign. So currently, to date, we have 26 local authority partnerships and we supply products for over 40 different supply pathways. So this ranges from normal community smoking cessation services to through to services like smoking in pregnancy, NHS staff quit programs, substance misuse and rough sleeper initiatives. And again, we have our in-store behavioural support clinics as well. So we work with lots of different local authorities throughout the UK and independent smoking cessation service providers. We also work with lots of different NHS trusts, providing products to acute, inpatient, and SMI cohorts of patients as well. On the back of that, we also do work with lots of different pharmacies. We supply products to various pharmacies for their smoking cessation pathways as well. So just looking at our brands and products, so how we choose the devices that we do. So we are a multi-brand retailer, meaning we only work with established and trusted brands in vaping. So all of the products we use for our smoking cessation services are carefully chosen using customer and staff reviews, return rates, sales data from our 57 stores and our online platform, and our own experiences as well. And this is consistently reviewed to make sure that we're offering the best in-class products to all the services that we work with. So the brands we work with have won several prestigious awards within the vaping industry, which range from Best Vape Device, Best Vape Starter Kit, and lots more awards as well. The device we've been looking at has consistently won the Best Vape Device for switching from smoking to vaping. Just looking at the e-liquid that we supply. So the e-liquid brand we use is called Homebrew. So it's a well-established company that we've partnered with for many years. It's manufactured in the UK, in Belfast, in an ISO 9001 accredited facility, and it's tested in an ISO 17025 accredited testing laboratory. So their products meet UK regulations, ensuring high quality and safety that you can trust for your clients. And we'll go through the flavours and strengths that are available when we look at the voucher redemption in a moment as well. Okay, so just having a look at the East Sussex Pharmacy Swap to Stock bundle. So as Casey mentioned, it is a refillable pod kit, meaning that the pods come empty and they're filled with e-liquid continually until the pod expires. So the atomizer or the coil is sealed within inside the pod, so there's no individual removing of atomizers or coils from the device. The client will just be replacing their whole pod. We will watch a short setup video in a moment as well, so you'll get to see exactly how the device works from unboxing it through to taking the first vape. Essentially, this is the swap to stock bundle. So the client will get a refillable pod device, a packet of replacement refillable pods, and then they will get 10 bottles of e-liquid in total for the entire swap to stock bundle. And that is split down when we go into the landing page, you'll see in a moment, that is split down so that can be provided over 2 different provisions to the client as well. So just looking at the features of the device, so it's a mouth to lung style device, which are for clients switching from smoking to vaping. It's a simple drawer activated device. It doesn't have any buttons to switch it on or off or to vape from it. Simply when the end user inhales from the mouthpiece, it will activate and work. When they put it down, it will deactivate and shut itself off. And the battery capacity is 1000 milliamp high density. So if you're not familiar with what milliamps are in batteries, essentially the higher the number, the longer the device will hold a charge. The battery is also fast charging and high density, which means after a 30 to 40 minute charging period, the device will have a full battery and it will last up to 2 days of vaping from one charge. Okay, so we'll come back to the device setup video in a moment. So we will also be providing you with device specific client information sheets, which look like this. So whether you're providing the kit directly to a client or you're providing them a voucher code, you'll have 2 versions of this sheet. The first version will look like that. So if you're providing the kit physically, you will give this version of the sheet to the client. So what this contains is information on vaping in general and some information before setting up the new vape device. Has some information on how vapes work and a QR code to the online setup video that I'm going to show you in a moment. Then on the back of the sheet, it has a step-by-step visual guide taken from the online video for those that are unable to access the internet. Has some information on e-liquid and the pod replacements, and then contact details for our customer service team. So it's worth noting as well that they're all fully trained, our customer service team, in all of our smoking cessation pathways and the products that we supply. So when you hand the kit or a voucher code to the client with this client information sheet, please do tell the client to come directly through to us if they've got any questions with regards to their vape device in specific, or setting up and maintaining the device ongoing. So if you're giving the client an e-voucher code, the client information sheet will look like this. It will have the specific link to the landing page at the top, and then it has instructions of how the client will redeem their product. and then a space for you to write in the voucher number or type it in electronically if you're going to send this via email as well. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to show you firstly the device setup video, which will just take a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to show you how the client will redeem the products online for home delivery.
Welcome back to the channel everyone, Rich here from Evapo. In this video we take a look inside the box of the Extros 3 Mini from Vaporesso. The Vaporesso Extros 3 Mini pod kit utilises the Vaporesso Extros 3's 0.6 ohm mesh pods to create incredible flavours courtesy of the Core X heater technology, adjustable airflow integrated Axon chipset and a 1000 mAh internal battery. When you open up the box, inside you'll find the Extros 3 Mini device with a pod pre-installed, your USB Type-C charging cable, and finally your user manual. To charge, use the USB Type-C that's provided in the pod and plug it into the charging port located at the bottom of the device. When you are ready, remove the pod from the top of the device by pulling from the pod right out. Once out, on the bottom of the pod you'll see a small sticker preventing the device from firing. Once out, on the bottom of the pod you'll see a small sticker preventing the device from firing. Peel this off like so and you're on to filling. Reinsert the pod back into the device like so. Once the pod has been reinserted, push against the black mouthpiece like so and it should snap off, revealing your fill hole. Insert one of your favourite e-liquid bottles into the red fill hole and fill the pod until it's full. Once full, reattach the black mouthpiece like so. And finally, to vape, simply inhale from the black mouthpiece as the Extros 3 Mini has draw activation.
Okay, so you can see it's a simple process for the client, taking the vape out of the box for the first time and then setting it up. Just a matter of bringing it out and taking off the sticker on the pod, and then they're pretty much on to filling up the device with e-liquid. So as we were saying previously, that device setup video is available for the client via this QR code on the client information sheet, and then again the step-by-step visual guides on the back as well. Okay, now I'm just going to stop sharing my screen again, and I'm just going to go to the online voucher page and show you how the client will redeem the products for home delivery. Sorry, my screen's just taking a moment. Here we go. Okay, so you're going to have given the client the device specific client information sheet. They've got the link for the landing page. They enter the link, which just so you know is evapo.co.uk/PHP, which stands for Public Health Partnership, /ESP, which stands for East Sussex Pharmacy. So that's a link for the page. This is where the client will arrive when they first put in that link. Just to note, first of all, there's a customer service telephone number on the top, in the top right hand corner, and I can't show you because it's out of hours now, but there's a live chat function in the bottom right hand corner. So the client, if they are having any difficulties or they don't want to redeem the product themselves, they can call customer service or chat to us, and we will redeem the product on behalf of the client. So if the client's arriving to this page for the first time and they're going to redeem their starter kit, Sorry, just to note first of all, so here is the complete swap to stock bundle. So if you were going to provide the whole kit to the client in one go, you'll be giving them 2 voucher codes, you'll be giving them a starter kit code, and you'll be giving them a top-up code. And they're separated by prefixes. So when you get the codes, you'll notice that one of them start ESPS, which is East Sussex Pharmacy Starter, and one will start ESPT, which is East Sussex Pharmacy Top Up, and they'll be in different tabs on the sheet that you receive. So if you're giving the client the whole kit, they will need the starter code and the top up code, and they will just redeem them back to back. So if you're splitting it and they're going to be redeeming them separately, the client would click onto the product and they would be presented with a series of drop down boxes. So just to note here as well, that device setup video is also available under the products here. So automatically filled out will be the device kit. So they won't need to make any selections for that. All the selections they're making here is the flavours and strengths of e-liquid. So here you can see you have tobacco, menthol, strawberry, raspberry, passion fruit and mango. And all of these flavours are available in 3, 6, 12 and 18 milligram. So you have the tobacco and menthol option, then you have a nice range of fruit flavours, and you have the full range of nicotine strengths from 3 milligram up to 18 milligram. So depending on what you've advised the client to select for their program, depending on their dependency, they would be selecting the e-liquid that you've advised them and you've agreed with them, and they would be clicking add to basket. When they click add to basket, a box will pop up on the right hand side and they will click view and edit basket. And these steps as well are on the client information sheet, so they will know how to do this step by step. When they click view and edit basket, it will bring them onto this page. So this is a good time to just recap on the selections that they've made, because it's all listed in one list, and that they've got the right flavours and strengths of e-liquid. If they haven't, they can go back, change it and come back forward to this step again. On the right hand side, they will see a box that says enter discount code. So this is where they're going to enter their voucher code that you've provided them. So as you can see, because this is a starter bundle, the code that I'm entering here is ESPS, so East Sussex Pharmacy Starter. So once that code is entered into this box, they would click apply. And it's not going to work because I'm sharing my screen, but essentially all that will happen when they click apply is these payments here, there you go, will turn to 0. So the order total will become 0. Then they would click checkout. When they click checkout, this is where they're going to enter their personal details. So this does need to be the address that they're registered at for age verification purposes, which we'll go over in a moment. So they'll be putting in their email address and their first and last name, and then their date of birth. And then their home address. So again, the one that they would be registered on for their electoral roll. And then their telephone number. It's optional if they want to sign up to our newsletter, and then they would click 0 for shipping. Okay, now when they click next, the system's going to perform an age verification check. So it's going to use credit reference agencies and the electoral roll. So providing the client passes age verification, they will arrive at the next screen with the blue place order button. If they fail age verification and the system can't age verify them, a box will pop up here and this page will be greyed out in the background, and it will ask them a couple of questions with regards to their personal details to try and verify themselves, and they get 3 attempts to do that. If they fail those 3 attempts, our customer service team will contact them on the telephone number they provided on the previous screen, and we will work directly with the client to provide the correct documents to age verify themselves to complete the order. So providing age verification was passed, they would then click place order and the process is complete. So just pedaling back to the landing page, just give me one moment. It's going to be exactly the same process if they're redeeming a top-up bundle. So they would redeem that first. If they were doing it all in one go, they would redeem the starter bundle via that process first, and then they would redeem the top-up bundle. So the top-up bundle is exactly the same process. When they click on it, it would just be a series of drop-down boxes, And again, they would be making their selections of e-liquid flavours and strengths. Once they've done that, they would follow the same process as the starter bundle. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how the client will redeem the products online. Just going to go back to my presentation. So that kind of gives you an idea on the products, what the swap to stock bundle looks like, and how the client's going to redeem them for home delivery. So the rest of the slides is for further resource for you guys, really. And it just kind of emphasizes quite a lot of the stuff that Casey was saying in his slides. I will send these slides to Casey, and if relevant, he'll pass them on. So it just contains links to lots of different guidance. So just picking some of them out, the Swap to Stop campaign, vaping being 95% less harmful than smoking. So you've got links to all of these further resources within the slides as well. Then just looking at the efficacy of vapes and vaping. So the latest Cochrane review found a high certainty evidence that nicotine-containing vapes are more effective than nicotine replacement therapy alone in helping people to quit smoking. So you have a link to the Cochrane review here. Another link that I thought you would find really useful was a clinical trial that was performed in a community pharmacy, and this was used vapes versus NRT. And the overall quit numbers was significantly increased with vapes being used versus NRT, and the link to that clinical trial is there as well. Then just a quick look at the NHS most recent stats. So the blue one is all pharmacotherapy types combined, and the orange is vapes being used on their own. You can see a significant difference in the quit numbers being reported. Again, as Casey was saying, unfortunately, there is lots of myths that exist around vaping. So there is also a link here to the vaping myths and facts section on the NHS Better Health website. So this will provide you myths that clients have provided in their smoking cessation appointments, and then answers that advisors have given back to those clients for those myths. There is some of them here. I think when I was an advisor, I was told over 100 times that vaping gives you popcorn lung. There's never been a registered health condition of popcorn lung caused from vaping. So you can see lots of myths do exist. Again, you've got the link for the vaping myths and facts section on the Better Health website there as well. And then again, just confirming what Casey was saying, if you keep up to date with the current governing bodies in vaping and smoking cessation, that will also help you combat myths from the information that you're reading as well. And then finally, the MHRA yellow card scheme. So as you would do if you provide medication to a client and they get side effects, you'd report that to MHRA. Because our products are notified to MHRA, you can also do that via the MHRA reporting guide. So if you do get any clients experiencing side effects, please feel free to report that onto the MHRA. And then my final note is just on recycling. So the e-liquid packaging is easy to recycle as part of household waste. The cardboard packaging and paper instructions, which will come with the e-liquid and the device kit box, can go straight into the recycling bin. And if they've been cleaned and rinsed to remove any e-liquid residue, the e-liquid bottles can also be included with household plastic recycling. The vape devices have a lithium-ion battery. It is worth noting, looking at the NHS most recent stats again, clients are using their vape device for up to 12 months after their registered quit to prevent any relapse back into the service. And this device will last them that whole period of time and longer. But if they do have an immediate need to recycle, there is a link here which has all of the lithium-ion battery recycling facilities in East Sussex. We also have our stores in Eastbourne and Hastings, which has a vape recycling vessel on the shop floor. You can see in the picture on the right-hand side. Customers are more than welcome to use that, and they don't have to interact with staff. They can just come in and access the recycling vessel and leave if they wish to. And that brings me to the end. So again, so happy to answer any questions or revisit any of the slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. That was really informative and really helpful. If there are any questions for Gary, then feel free just to come in or just to email me, and I can pass them on. I will definitely be sharing Gary's slides with you after this meeting, as I think they're very informative and provide you with a lot of information alongside the ones that I went through earlier, but also more so on the technical side of things that Gary is absolutely the expert in. Just going back to Caroline's question, I remembered the second part was about eligibility, which is very important, Caroline, and I'm glad you brought it up. So all clients should be assessed as eligible, utilising the following criteria. So if you're signed up to our 12-week pathway, it is almost identical, other than a very important key difference. This is only for over 18s because, as Gary said, e-cigarettes are an age-restricted product in law where they cannot be sold or given to anyone under the age of 18. So obviously in our 12-week pathway, so in our separate pathway, which I'm making very clear for anyone watching the recording, is completely different to the Swap to Stop pilot we're talking about. Anyone from the age of 12 can access the 12-week pathway with nicotine replacement therapy. That is not the case for the Swap to Stop 4-week pilot pathway, because children under the age of 18 cannot be allowed to use e-cigarettes under any circumstances. Also, as well, as Gary clearly demonstrated, EVAPO's age verification system is excellent. Really, so also as well, when you're taking people's dates of birth, the thing I would encourage, if there is a doubt, always check, but the system will pick it up as well. But kind of have multiple lines of defense against that as well. And obviously you can refuse, you can of course refuse service. And my advice would always be to you, if you was concerned that someone was under the age of 18, I would rather you refer them to the local stop smoking service and email me to say that you've done so we can pick that up separately. So then the responsibility, we can do all of the due diligence. So just to be extra cautious to make sure that it don't get into the hands of children and young people, because that's very important. And then in terms of the other eligibility, they'd have to meet smoking cessation treatment criteria. So that's wanting to quit using an e-cigarette, wanting to give it a go, being, willing to set a quit date. They might relapse, that's fine. But it's that initial thing of, yes, I would like to set a quit date. I would like to quit tomorrow or next week. We always say to try and do a quit date sooner rather than later, as it kind of they're kind of motivated at that stage. Then just obviously they have to be living in East Sussex. Yes, and then the final eligibility, as I said, if you have any concerns about the suitability of a client to engage with this pathway, age-related or otherwise, please do just email me and I'm happy to support. Also, me and Gary both listed the really useful resources on myths about vaping. I do understand you're all very busy people. If you do have any kind of questions that you think, oh, that's a complex one, feel free just to reach out to me by email, and I will come back to you to kind of reduce the burden of that kind of query as well. So that's that from me. Gary obviously went through the different strengths. As I said, you tend to start people off on higher strengths and then they reduce over time. Gary, this is when you can come in and say otherwise, but the tobacco flavors and the menthol, they don't tend to be as popular as the sweet ones, do they? The sweet ones do. Obviously, some people do use the tobacco and menthol ones, but yeah, from your experience, just to give colleagues here in the oversight of that.
Yeah, so we generally find older clients are the ones that generally access tobacco flavours more. Younger clients, obviously being over 18, generally access the fruit flavours more. We do find more modern smokers, so smokers that are on more than 40 cigarettes a day, tend to lean for the tobacco flavour.
Yeah.
But again, they've got the full choice there. And just going back to the strengths quickly as well, how a lot of pharmacies align this is like with NRT. So if you've got your 21 milligram patch, you'd be providing an 18 milligram e-liquid, same with a 25 milligram patch, and then you would tier down the same as you would with patches. What you'll find a little bit nicer with e-liquid and vaping is that you can bring a client down to 3 milligram. So with patches, your final stages are 10 and 7 if it's a 24-hour patch. So the clients are going to be coming down to 3 milligram. So that's the dependency is a lot less when they leave the program. So that's just something worth noting as well.
No, that's really helpful. Thank you, Gary. Also, as well, just kind of a final thought from me as well is that really encourage, in terms of next steps. So, firstly, really encourage feedback from you and your colleagues when you start delivering this. Obviously, this is a pilot, so there is learning to be had. So, I want to be told what could work better, if it's going great, if it's not going so great. Also, we like to hear about the devices. How are people, responding to them? Some, our majority of clients finding them easy to use. Are some struggling? All of those kind of nuances as well. For example, you might identify, oh, well, we want some resources, or we want some marketing within the pharmacy. We can support you with that. And then just also going back to a kind of a launch date. So we're hoping to have this fully up and running, so you'll be able to start delivering and claiming by the end of September at the latest. But what we will be doing over the next few weeks is I will be contacting those of you signed up for testing. So that will just be, I will be contacting you and very kindly asking some of your pharmacies to test the farm outcomes pathway that will be for swap to stop, just so we can make sure that if there are any issues, we get them zeroed out and all sorted before we fully launch. And then once that's all done and once we're all happy, then we will be ready to launch immediately. The e-cigarettes are in stock. The vouchers are in stock, so it's not a case of having to wait for them. There's no supply chain or availability issues, but the kind of next few weeks is really focused on that, getting just everything squared down, making sure that you're happy, making sure that myself and also colleagues at the LPC, we're all happy, we're all linked up, and also answering any questions. Also provides us with an opportunity to identify any immediate training needs for this scheme. So, if you do think that some of your staff would benefit from this session, or they would benefit from us or colleagues doing another kind of short burst of video sessions, like 10-15 minutes that they can watch, then we can work with you to do that, whatever would work best for you. Also as well, really happy to come in. We do have some we are getting some demo devices as well, so I'm sure Gary can send me across one of these Vaporesso ones, and then if there's any issues, I'm more than happy to come in and show stuff as well. I think that's always a good option, just to show people. Yeah, so hope that answers your questions. Yeah, and happy to take any, and Simran, if there's anything from you.
Say, I've stopped the recording now.